Advancing UN troops made a discovery that would haunt them forever. Scattered across the frozen slopes were hundreds of Chinese soldiers, but not as casualties of combat. These men were frozen solid, still standing at their posts, rifles clutched in their hands as if time itself had stopped. The true story of the Frozen Chosin, one of the most harrowing instances of nature's brutality in military history. When temperatures plunged to minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit, turning the Korean mountains into a killing zone more lethal than any weapon. But how did an entire army end up frozen in place? Why weren't they prepared for the cold? And what does this tragedy have to tell us about the brutal realities of winter warfare? Join me as we uncover the chilling truth behind one of the darkest chapters of the Korean War, where Mother Nature proved to be the deadliest enemy of them all. In June 1950, dawn broke on a peninsula that was split in two. North Korean troops, backed by China and the Soviet Union, rushed across the 38th parallel into South Korea. Like an unstoppable tide, they swept south, taking Seoul and pushing steadily toward Busan, leaving South Korea on the southeastern tip of the peninsula with a weak foothold. As a reaction, the U.S. got 16 countries to work together under the UN flag, with the famous General Douglas MacArthur in charge. What happened next was one of the most dramatic turns of events in the history of war. MacArthur planned a risky landing on both land and sea at Incheon, which caught the North Korean troops off guard and cut off their supply lines. As fall got closer, a risky plan began to take shape. Come up with two strong pincers. Army's 10th Corps, led by General Edward Almond, stormed ashore at Wonsan on the east coast. The 1st Marine Division, led by Major General Oliver Prince Smith, was made up of experienced soldiers. At the same time, troops from the U.S. Army and the British Royal Marine Commandos moved forward from the west. These groups worked together like a vice, slowly pushing North Korean forces north until they ran away across the Yalu River into China. In November 1950, the Chosin Reservoir's ice waters mirrored a steel-gray sky. After making great gains inside North Korean territory, the 1st Marine Division is now prepared to confront a historically terrifying threat. On November 25th, a major shift occurs in the strategic equation. China, under Mao Zedong, enters the fight. A 300,000-strong Chinese army surges over the border. The United Nations forces, already weak and vulnerable due to the rugged terrain, have fallen into a deadly trap. Western forces refer to what happens next as the Battle of Chosin Reservoir, while the Chinese call it the Battle of Lake Changjin. One of the bloodiest battles of the 20th century is about to take place here among these snowy peaks. The 1st Marine Division is about to meet its demise as a Chinese blocking force tries to block off any possible escape routes. Fighting their way back to defensive positions, the combined U.S. Marine and World Marine Advanced Party unleashed devastating air and artillery support while engaging in intense firefights. However, nature was an even more threatening adversary. An icy blast from Siberia suddenly descends, causing widespread destruction. From freezing to a mind-boggling minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit, the temperature dropped precipitously. This temperature remained for weeks. The catastrophic cold brought unexpected consequences. Chinese forces, expecting a swift victory, lacked proper winter gear. Their light cotton uniforms offered no protection against the brutal temperatures. Major General Smith deployed reconnaissance teams ahead of the main force. Among his commanders was Colonel Louis B. Chesty Puller, a Marine Corps legend whose reputation had been forged in the Pacific War. The advancing Marines encountered a scene that defied comprehension. Entire Chinese units stood frozen in place, a macabre tableau of warfare stopped in time. Soldiers remained fixed in combat positions, some kneeling, others mid-stride, weapons raised, grenades clutched in frozen hands. The waist-deep snow had become their final resting place. Intelligence identified these forces as members of the 6th Company, 117th Regiment, 5th Company, 242nd Regiment, and 2nd Company, 180th Regiment. While Allied forces suffered casualties from the extreme cold, nothing matched the scale of this frozen army. Chinese General Song Shailun, commander of the 9th Corps of the Volunteer Army, would later document this devastating loss in his report to the High Command. Not one soldier abandoned their position. The entire company perished, frozen in combat formation. The battlefield showed no signs of engagement. Decades later, General Chi Haoqian, a survivor of Chongjin, spoke with haunted clarity.
60 years have passed. The memories of Changjin Lake remain carved in my mind.
The Battle of Chosin Reservoir stands as a stark reminder of warfare's harsh realities. The frozen soldiers of the Chinese army who never fired a shot became a testament to both the futility of war and the raw power of natural forces. In military academies worldwide, Chosin is studied not only for its tactics, but as a lesson in the critical importance of proper winter warfare preparation. The Battle of Chosin Reservoir reshaped modern military doctrine. The Marines' successful breakout to Hungnam, evacuating 105,000 troops and 91,000 Korean civilians, became a textbook example of strategic withdrawal under extreme conditions. Chinese forces suffered an estimated 50,000 casualties, many from the cold alone. UN forces lost 18,000 men, killed, wounded, or missing, but the true toll extended beyond numbers. Thousands of survivors suffered lifelong effects from frostbite and exposure. The battle earned the Marines their legendary nickname, the Frozen Chosin. These veterans fought their way through 78 miles of mountainous terrain while surrounded by 8 Chinese divisions, demonstrating extraordinary resilience. Their motto became, "Retreat, hell, we're just attacking in another direction." The Chinese military fundamentally reformed its cold weather operations. Winter gear became mandatory and training protocols changed. The image of their frozen soldiers standing eternal guard haunted military planners for generations. Today, the chosen few, surviving veterans of the battle, gather annually. Their numbers dwindle, but their legacy endures. Military forces worldwide study their experience. Cold weather warfare doctrine, emergency evacuation procedures, and the critical importance of logistics all bear the marks of lessons learned at Chosin. The reservoir's waters still hold their secrets. Beneath the ice, unknown numbers of fallen soldiers remain. Each winter, when temperatures plunge to -40, the ghosts of Chosin serve as silent sentinels, reminding us of that terrible convergence of human conflict and nature's raw power. Thank you for watching Powerful Primates. Our aim simple, to share stories we find fascinating. Thank you for joining us on that journey. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, bon voyage.